good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, or whenever you may be tuning in to the Growing Our Future podcast. We appreciate you joining us today. And like always, we like to say, if you want to know what the future is, grow it. Well, the way you do that is you got to have the right seeds. You got to plant them, and then you got to nurture them, take care of them, and grow something beautiful, and then share it with others. And today's podcast has got a great guest. It's no different. We're gonna gain some insights and some experiences, and hopefully some seeds of greatness that will make our lives and our careers that much better. We're honored today to have Mitchell Dale join us. Mitchell, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Aaron. I'm excited and honored to be here. I appreciate you asking me to be involved with your podcast, and look forward to our discussion.
Well, we're glad that you're here, and just to give everybody a little background here, Mitchell Dale is the chairman of the Texas FFA Foundation Board of Directors, and this is really kind of his podcast. This is the foundation podcast. I just get to be the host, and he's also the president of McRee Ford, and we're going to learn a little bit more about that here in just a minute. But Mitchell, we start every podcast, every episode, asking our guests the same question. And today you get that question. And that question is, Mitchell, what are you grateful for today?
Well, I'm grateful first and foremost for my family and for my faith. Collectively, the two of those working together. I'm grateful for the foundation my family was focused on, and those around me that helped grow that foundation, solidify the foundation that I've been able to stand on, the rest of my life. And that foundation has allowed me the opportunity to be involved in a number of different things, and I'm just also very grateful to have that opportunity to serve others and hopefully make a difference, a positive difference.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. I love the fact that we have family, that we have a set of values that are grounded in faith, and that we live in a country that gives us the freedom and the liberty to really enjoy those things.
Right.
There are a lot of families around the world, but they don't necessarily get to enjoy things the way we do. And I think that when we think about how much we have to be grateful for, to me, I find people that are grateful to be very positive people. They're energetic and they're hopeful. And so I don't know about you. What do they say? Your vibe attracts your tribe. I kind of like hanging around people that are hopeful and energetic and see the good in things and see opportunity and want to share with others. And it sounds like that's Mitchell Dale.
Well, I would agree with you, Aaron. I think reflecting, being grateful and reflecting on some of the past and those things that you're grateful for, don't take them for granted. But being grateful kind of grounds you might say, in an area where you kind of build from those experiences and like I said, not take them for granted, but build on them. And gratefulness is something, I would say right up there with forgiveness. I mean, I think, being grateful and being forgiving, all of us, there's challenges, and history is history. And I don't think there's a person that wouldn't look back and maybe change a little something in that history, but to really focus on what you're grateful for, more than thankful. I think grateful has a stronger, deeper meaning. I think that has supports the things that have allowed you to be who you are, grow to who you are, continue to look to growing, and staying focused on your core values.
Well, we can stop right there. I don't think we need to go any further. We can just end this podcast because I don't think we could build on anything greater than that right there. But
I enjoyed the conversation.
But we're going to keep going. So For some of our listeners, they may have heard, obviously, they've probably heard of the Ford's Texas FFA and the Ford sponsorship, but they may not know Mitchell Dale, and they may not know Mitchell's path to be sitting in the seat that he sits in today, both at McRee Ford and at the Texas FFA Foundation. So I want to kind of unpack both of those, Mitchell. If you would, take us through the journey that led you to the presidency of McRee Ford and where McRee Ford is today. And then from there, we'll pivot and talk about your journey with the Texas FFA. But tell us about McRee Ford and Mitchell Dale.
Well, I'll give it a shot. So McRee Ford is in Dickinson, Texas, just halfway between Houston and Galveston. I'm fortunate to be the third generation family-owned, operated dealership, a Ford dealership. Fourth generation, our daughter Molly and son Carter and son-in-law Dane are actively involved in the day-to-day management leadership of McRee Ford, along with my brother Michael. But my grandfather actually started to work at the Ford assembly plant 94, 95 years ago, wow. Something like that. And you know, nobody would have known where that journey was going to end up. But we've been in business. This is our 76th year. And, you know, we've continued. My grandfather was a farm boy from Lexington, Lee County, and pretty simple, really. And it was, you know, he wanted to establish a business to support his family and support the community and the communities around us that we serve. So I would tell you that we've continued. I spoke earlier about foundation, but the foundation of our Ford dealership and our success, you might say, not only with having a great product in Ford Motor Company, but the success that we've had is just kind of, it's pretty simple. If you do the right thing, it's always the right thing. And you know, if you'll give yourself the test, if it passed that smell test, you might say, and that's what we encourage all of our employees and managers and to do is, you know, if a situation evolves, because, you know, we're in a reactionary business. We're providing transportation and all that goes with the joys of buying and ownership, and hopefully building a relationship where the customers come back. As a matter of fact, what we want our employees and our customers to say is, McRee Ford, that's my dealer. And we want to satisfy them and deliver an experience where not only our employees first, but our employees want to say, that's my dealer. And keeping things pretty simple, sticking to your core values and focusing on not only your customers, but serving the communities around you has been, I would say, the basis for our success for 76 years.
Well, congratulations on 76 years, and congratulations on an incredible organizational and corporate culture. I'm fond of saying that a fountain can only rise as high as its head. And if you look across this country at all great businesses and all great organizations, I will tell you that at the top, you're going to find leadership that resembles exactly what you've described, and that is values-based, it's customer service-based, it's service-focused, it's community-focused. And I think that what y'all have accomplished at McRee Ford, without question, represents that. I like to tell people, Mitchell, I'll tell a story here that I don't know if you've ever heard me tell before, but I like to tell people there's been many times that I've called McRee Ford before I had Mitchell's cell number. And I'd say, I need to speak to Mitchell Dale. And they'd say, ask me who was calling. And I'd tell them, they say, well, he's not here right now. And I'd say, where is he? He's down at the food pantry helping out. He's over here serving the local FFA Booster Club. I mean, it always warmed my heart when I got that feedback of he's not here right now, because it's an example to all of us that I think we're all rewarded that much more when we serve others. And when you bring that kind of service into your corporate and your organizational brand, Mitchell, just like we've done in the Texas FFA, I think it makes our work that much more rewarding.
Well, I would agree with you, Aaron, and that's, you asked me about what I was grateful for. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to get out and be involved. You know, everybody's got a story, and if you get out there, being in business, corporations, it's kind of like with different organizations. There's a lot of them out there, but you get out and you serve. Anybody can just write a check, you might say, but getting involved and you don't ever know. Everybody's got a story, but you don't know what that story is. But just a few kind words. Here again, keeping things simple, looking for opportunities to be encouraging, to encourage people is very rewarding. And as a matter of fact, I'll tell you. We established a number of years ago to honor my dad, the William D. Dale Community Service Award, where employees can get recognized for being involved in community service. And this year at our banquets celebrating 2022, the award went to our employees, not just a single person, but to the whole team.
Wow.
Because it's the team that makes it possible for the individuals and our company to be as involved and be out there serving the communities around us. So we wanted to honor everybody, because they might not be the one going to read with the student that's kind of behind in reading, or serving at the some type of fundraiser or food pantry or whatever, but it's our people and our customers. But that's what this community service, it wasn't an individual. We recognized our whole team, because it takes the whole team to allow us to do the things that we do.
Well, again, to compliment you and your team and your company, it's about core values. And
Right.
What I appreciate is, number one, you recognize that we stand on the shoulders of the people that went before us.
Right.
We also recognize that our responsibility as leaders is to plant trees under whose shade we may never sit.
Right.
And when we think about the neat things that you're doing right there in your local community, and the lives that have been changed, the words of encouragement for that kid that needs a little extra reading, or that person that might be a little bit hungry, and you took a little anxiety out of their life and blessed them with that. I just got to it just makes me think that would make my work that much more rewarding. And that's a cultural thing. So I think that's a value to your company.
Well, it is the culture. And like I said, it might not have had all the fancy terms and things like that, but it was just the simple values that my grandfather and my dad, established over the years. And, our core values that we, here's a card right here that has them on there. Honesty, integrity, teamwork, trust, and love is what we continue to follow and be the foundation again of how we do business and how we interact with not only our employees, but with our customers.
Well, as you always say, I've heard you say a couple, 2 or 3 times, I think you're kind of fond of saying the right thing is always the right thing. And
well, the right thing is the right thing. And I've heard you say, when your values are clear, your choices are easy. So I guess we're even.
Well, let's just keep going about the right thing, because there is something that happened along this pathway that was the right thing. And that was how you got involved with the FFA. And so I want to talk about that a little bit, Mitchell, because I know that you, and by the way, listeners, if you haven't watched the foundation documentary, you can go to mytexasffa.org, click on watch the film, and you can see a documentary that'll tell a little bit more about the relationship with Ford Motor Company and Mitchell Dale and how that was established. But I want to take the podcast opportunity to go a little bit deeper back. And Mitchell, kind of take us back and tell us how you got involved with the FFA, and then we'll kind of bring that up to where we're at today and some of the things that we work together on today. but give us that backstory.
So I was not in FFA when I was going to school here in Dickinson many years ago. There wasn't Ag Science or FFA in Dickinson. I was aware of it, you might say, growing up, and then my involvement as an active Ford dealer in the marketing and advertising group for the Houston area Ford dealers. I attended the state convention when it was in Houston back in the 80s sometime. I don't remember exactly what year it was, but went to the state convention, and it just right then it felt like something I wanted to be involved in. It felt like a great organization. I was energized. It was enthusiastic, seeing all those blue and gold jackets, the smiles on their face, and just the fellowship, you might say, and the energy that you felt was something I wanted to be involved in. So, through our dealership, we got involved supporting county fairs and different chapters around our area. Our dealership has been very involved with over the years with the Built Ford Tough Scholarship Program. We've provided over 200 $1,000 scholarships through that program jointly with Ford Trucks over the years. So involved. And then, one day, some 21 years ago, something like that, 22 years ago, this guy named Aaron Alejandro showed up at McRee Ford. And that's when I, was at the right place at the right time. I think you commented about the right thing. However, the journey got us there. I had the opportunity to listen to your story and the FFA story and really the vision, I guess, at that time. I like to think of dream big, and the dreams right there were big for the organization. I wasn't aware of all the inner workings, you might say, but it was a vision and a big vision to gain some sponsorships and support for the capital campaign. And I happened to meet you and had the opportunity to listen and get enthused and kind of, I guess you say, broker our support and carry it forward to my fellow Ford dealers, both locally here in the state of Texas and then Ford Trucks and Ashley. So that's where I would tell you, Aaron, I know that you don't like me saying this, but it is a true partnership that began right then, and it has evolved. And the Ford brand is one I'm proud of, and the FFA is an organization that I'm also equally proud of. And it's really a kind of a no-brainer as long as you have the relationship and the awareness to continue to be grateful. We'll use that word grateful again for what we can collectively accomplish. I'm proud of that and look forward to what we can accomplish in the future.
Yeah, that's what this for the listeners. I just want y'all to know this is the reason why I like talking to Mitchell, because I always learn something, and I hope you're doing the same thing through these podcasts. But Mitchell said something a second ago, and it just really hit me. And Mitchell used the word partnership, and I thought about that when he said that. And we are in a partnership, and let me tell you what we're in the partnership for. We're in the partnership for a better future. We're in a partnership for more opportunities for kids and more opportunities for teachers. And I tell you what, that right there, that's energizing, and it makes me hopeful. It's very satisfying, and it's very appreciative that a brand like Ford Motor Company is willing to pour into our young people, to pour into our teachers, knowing that the programs like the Ford Leadership Scholars Program and the Lead Experience and the other opportunities that we provide through our relationship are empowering students, that they're encouraging and empowering educators. And, when you're in I told Tom Ziegler one time, Tom Ziegler and I were talking, and I said, Tom, I'm in the future business. And he said, what do you mean? I said, I'm in the kid business. And that's what you're helping us with, Mitchell. When Ford steps up and says, we're going to help you, you're now in the future business. And it's not just the future business, it's a better future business. So I'll let you get away with saying partnership, because we're partnering for a better tomorrow. And I think that's worthwhile.
It is. We're both building the future. I mean, Ford Motor Company builds the future by engineering, designing, and building their products. And FFA builds the future by taking the students and building their future. By, you take them at whatever level they are, and you build on that foundation. Everybody, there's a lot of different journeys to get to the involvement in ag science and FFA, but clearly the thought process is the purpose is the same. The vision is to build the future for those around us and those that are involved.
So with that, we established this great relationship with Texas Ford dealers and Ford Motor Company. And Mitchell, you have found yourself smack dab in the middle of some of those projects. And we are glad that you're there. But when we approached Ford Motor Company years ago, we said we'd like to start a program called the Ford Leadership Scholars Program. And we wanted it to be so much different than any other leadership development, because we wanted it to be community service focused. And we wanted students to take ownership in executing a community service project. Now, here we are 10 plus years, 15 years later, whatever. I can't even keep up, Mitchell, with how many it is, but
it's Aaron, actually, excuse me for interrupting, but we're right now in the process of our 14th class.
14. Think about that. 14 years of projects across the state of Texas that are significant community service projects, from literacy programs to park cleanup programs to I remember being at a ribbon cutting for a $2 million barn. I mean, it is incredible what these young people do. But Mitchell, you have personally really found a place there. And by the way, okay, now if you're listening and you're in the nonprofit world, one of the things that I will tell you is always get your board members and volunteers to find those things they're passionate about, because it will always be a good fit. And Mitchell is passionate about this program. And as a result, he's shared his time, his talent, his treasures, and his testimony with us in developing the Ford Leadership Scholars Program. Mitchell, tell us a little bit about that program and why you believe in it so much.
Well, the Ford Leadership Scholars Program is one that, I said this is our 14th class. We picked 10 students from across the state. Any of the FFA members are eligible to be recommended by their ag science teacher or advisor. And then, there's a process that they go through, developing essays, and then we do face-to-face interviews, and we narrow it down to 10 students from across the state. And the real basis of the training that week is building their future. Here again, taking those students and building on a lot of the training is based on servant leadership and community involvement, and then growing those individuals and helping them. I mean, they've all been successful. They've all, not all of them have been successful in the show ring, because some of them have been successful in other opportunities, whether it be, leadership development events or whatever. But it's just very exciting to me, because we're exposed. You hear about all the negative things going on in the world, and I'm telling you, these young people at 17 years old, they apply when they're a junior in high school. We have our training during the summer, and then they go back to their community, involved, their senior year, with everything else going on in, developing, going to their community and finding out what the needs are in their community, and validating that, and then developing, planning, raising money, and executing a sustainable community service project. So just to see these young folks and see how focused they are, and have them come back later and say, my experience as a Ford Leadership Scholar changed my life. I wouldn't be where I am today. In 14 years, that's when we started this. We talked about the real test to see if how our process is, and I'm proud to say it's been consistent every year. But where are these students going to, where are they going to end up, and the multitude of different professions. Some of them stay in the agriculture industry. Some of them actually go to be ag teachers and advisors. But it's just been very inspiring, and to think that we've made collectively between the FFA and the foundation and Ford, we've made a difference in over 100 communities now, because we do have, there's some chapters that have had one, there's some chapters that have had 2, 3, 4, even 5 students, and it's something that they build on. So it's been very inspiring to me, and something I've been happy and proud to be involved in.
Well, Mitchell, I just will tell you, I really appreciate you, and I appreciate your willingness to share with the students. I also appreciate every summer when we have our lead teachers. We have a program for teachers across Texas called the LEAD Experience. It stands for Leadership, Education, Advocacy, and Development. And Mitchell's always been willing to share with the lead teachers his professional and business insights and his core values of leadership in terms of being a manager or a classroom manager. And we always appreciate that. Mitchell, there are over 3,000 high schools in the state of Texas. Do you know that? 3,000 high schools. You know how many of them have graduating classes this year?
I would assume 3,000.
All of them. So I want you to think about
I hope it's 3,000.
You think about that. All of those kids are going to get out, and they're going to be looking for a job, scholarship, or an opportunity. And I always ask the kids, I said, what separates you from your peers? What's your competitive edge? What gives you that little bit of extra that makes somebody want to hire you, give you a scholarship, or provide you an opportunity? And I would argue that I think the leadership development opportunities of the FFA give kids a competitive edge that will open doors of opportunity for them into the future. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's certainly research, as you know, has been done by the foundation that validates that it's responsibility. Quick story. I mean, my youngest grandson, he just showed at Houston Livestock Show a pig, and to know the effort, the time, sweat, the responsibility, the accountability, everything that goes when these young people, decide to show an animal, whether it's a pig or goat or steer or whatever, but just to see that to be there in the barn, you might say, at NRG Center, and see the families together, the support that how much involvement there is to get where they are. And, just like in this pig show, I mean, after everything that's been accomplished there and been done, the love that they give, the nurturing, everything. Some of these kiddos, it's like a 10 seconds and it's over with that pig. That animal goes down that trail, you might say, and there they go onto the truck. And I'm not sure they're going back to the farm. but it's just, and guess what? That same kid might shed a tear. They might not. But what are they going to be doing? Well, some of them this week are already off to Austin because they're showing another animal, whatever it might be. So it's the accountability, it's the responsibility, it's the willingness to have success, to have not failure, but lack of success, not where you want to be, you might say, but just to keep the grit and the determination to keep going back. I mean, those are life lessons that'll stick with them forever. And The same thing happens through the other opportunities in FFA, whether it be, extemporaneous speaking or the different science projects, science fair projects. I mean, it teaches these young people how to handle challenges. You drive over a smooth highway. There's never been a road. None of us have a road that doesn't have a few potholes in it. And, it when you have that foundation, when you have those experiences, I mean, think about the support, the relationship. You think about mentors and look at how these students depend on their ag advisors and the commitment that they have. It's I don't have to tell the ag people that are on here. It's 365, 24 hours a day, 365, and it's they're there because they want to be. It's
Sure.
not, well, let me see the easiest way I can, get by with this. It's a commitment, and it's all based on growing the future, building the future, and growing these young people. And there's an opportunity for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're the valedictorian or if you're, that young person that's really struggling, trying to find a place, and but there's a place there. And that blue and gold jacket, once you put that around you, you're part of something. Okay. And the jacket's the same, and the fit might get a little bit snugger or a little bit looser, but it provides opportunities for students. And if you think about it, it's not just 4-year college scholarships. It's
Right.
if you think about the career and technical education and the focus on that, I mean, you're looking at a lot of opportunities through the agricultural science courses for different certifications that really prepare these people not just for the future but for the present, where they can go out there and whatever their interest is. And when I talk to during the Ford Leadership Scholars, it's like, find your place, find something that you're happy, that you love to do. The best thing you can do is find a career, find a profession that you love. And that if you feel like you're not going to work, but you're going to do something you enjoy, not only are you going to be more successful, but you're going to be more productive. The people around you are going to be more productive, and you're going to make a difference, a positive difference on those people around you.
Mitchell, that's really good. I think you really believe in this stuff.
Yeah, it's
You said something that I appreciate, Mitchell, and that is when I think about the relationship that we've established with you and Ford Motor Company, and you've seen in your role as a board of director. I like to say this: it's our responsibility as adults. It's our responsibility to create opportunities. That's our job, because not everybody's going to pursue the same opportunity.
That's right.
Our job is to create opportunities. And then the young people that are listening, that blue and gold jacket, you put it on, it's going to give you a big old hug, and it's going to say, here, let me show you what all these opportunities look like. But your responsibility is to determine the outcome. Our job is to create the opportunity. Your job is to determine the outcome. And you've got people like Mitchell, you've got people with the foundation, the Texas FFA, the ag teachers, you've got sponsors, you've got all these people that are willing to say, let me help you, let me encourage you, let me empower you, but we need you to take advantage of that. And
right.
if you'll do it, you will reap the rewards of what that blue and gold jacket can create. Mitchell, I always appreciate it when you share with people tips on leadership. Give us 3 tips. If you were a young person right now or an ag teacher, what 3 tips on leadership might you share?
Well, first thing I would say is be a good listener. Now, you might find that funny for me to say since I've been doing all this talking, but be a good listener. Not only just with your ears, but with your eyes. Be aware. Make sure you're always aware. Your surroundings. Listen. Be encouraging.
Mm.
Encourage others. Be willing to share where you've been and some opportunities. But I would say be a good listener. Be encouraging. Be a doer.
Yes.
Don't just kind of be a follower, but be a doer. Lead by example. And it doesn't matter, it's not titles. You might think just because you're not the president of this organization, or you're not the officer in this organization, or you're not this or not that, or, there's always everybody. You never know when somebody's looking. And like I said before, you never know what their story is. And just every opportunity you to have, if you're a good listener, get engaged and be encouraging. Just a few little words of encouragement can go a long way at times. So I just say, be sincere. Let your I think they all kind of, in my opinion, I'm trying to say what kind of all goes together to not focus on yourself, but focus on those around you and be aware of them, because while you're growing them, while you're helping them see opportunities that they might not see, guess what? You're growing yourself at the same time. And I think that's kind of, my philosophy, if that makes sense.
That makes all the sense in the world. I love it. I mean, there are so many words that come to mind when I hear you talk. I hear genuineness. I hear authenticity. I hear vulnerability. But I also hear action. I like that. Be a doer. It's like one thing, dream dreams, but you got to wake up and make those dreams come true. So
exactly.
we need you to aspire to great things, but you've got to go out there and be willing, just like you talked about, Mitchell, with the people that get into the project world and they realize that in the world of agriculture, if you don't do your job, something dies. But you also realize that in the world of agriculture, if you're going to compete, no different than an athlete, you got to put in the hours to be competitive. And you've witnessed that firsthand with that grandson of yours. And I've witnessed too, that young man, and I don't mind saying this, I've witnessed a lot of ambassadors that have worked for us over the years. But what I appreciate about our ambassador kids is every one of them find their value in how to serve other people. And it's also a pleasure not only to watch your grandson enjoy the showing in the ring, but it's also been encouraging to watch him take some of the leadership skills he's learned and apply them in his community. And you think about that, if we've got 167,000 members doing that, what an incredible impact this organization is having on the state of Texas. What an incredible impact it's having on the United States and in the world.
We talked some about the Ford Leadership Scholar Program and how that's focused on the community service. And, you said there's 3,000 schools, there's 167,000 ag students. You don't have to be a Ford Leadership Scholar to get involved in your community and to serve and recognize the value there and the reward that comes from that. But, and here again, it's not just, in the showing or athletics or whatever, we're talking about life skills,
right?
Whether it be in your family, whether it be with your church, whatever your future might bring you. Here again, I know I've talked about foundation, but it truly is building that foundation, where the future can be brighter for those that want to grab hold and say, yeah, there's something to this. Get involved, get engaged, and make sure it's something. If it's not meaningful to you, then find something else.
There you go. I hope y'all heard what he just said. I tell my kids all the time, I said, what's wrong with a good idea? And they're all like, Dad, there's nothing wrong with a good idea. I said, yeah, it is. If it's the only one you got to have a lot of good ideas. And you got to always be looking for opportunities because you never know which one, you never know which one may be the difference maker. And so don't ever be satisfied. Always be looking to serve. Always be looking for I like what you said about listening. Listening also includes looking around and being aware. And I couldn't agree with you more. Mitchell, we got to wrap up. Like I said, we could talk for another hour, but we do got to bring this to an end. And you get one last question. All guests get the same question. And that is a fun question. Mitchell Dale, what is the best concert you've ever been to?
Best concert. Well, I got to be careful here. I would say, well, I'm a big George Strait fan.
Okay.
So the best concert I guess I've been to was when they closed the Astrodome, and George Strait closed the Astrodome and he rode away. And, that was a great concert. But the best part about it was when he didn't ride away for good.
Right.
He came back. So I would just tell you, George Strait is and the way he goes about it, whether it be, on the four squares where he starts at one corner and he sings a few songs, and, so the ones at the rodeo, obviously that's probably not the best acoustics, but when you think about, we went in Las Vegas, at that time, a couple of years ago, he had 60 number one hits. So we went on Friday night. He started with record number one. The first night, he went from number one to number 30. He said, if y'all enjoyed that, come back tomorrow. We'll start with 31 and go through the rest of them. So,
wow.
We talk about service. You think that's not serving his fans?
Wow.
So
That's
I
great.
just, I like his music, and I like who he is. So I'd have to say that's my favorite concerts. I won't hold it to one.
That's okay. Well, I couldn't agree with you more. I've seen George Strait on several occasions, and he puts on an incredible show. He's a great entertainer and performer, and obviously we're proud that he's a former Texas FFA member as well.
Right.
Yep. Mitchell, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to share your experiences, your insights, and share some seeds of greatness, because I think there's a lot of wisdom that you shared today. And I hope that some of the listeners, and including myself, we can plant some of those seeds and we can grow a better future. So Mitchell, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, Aaron. It's my pleasure, and it's an honor to be able to be involved with the FFA, the ag teachers. I love what they do. I have a lot of respect and admire what they do, and everybody involved in that in the agricultural world. There's so many opportunities, and no matter how you roll up your sleeves, there's an opportunity there. So I've enjoyed visiting with you today, and God bless everyone, and I wish everybody a great future.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap up this episode, don't ever forget, what do we say? If you want to know what the future is, grow it. Take today's episode, take today's words of wisdom, put them in place in your life, share them with your friends, encourage others, and you will find out that you're going to reap a great, great reward in the future. Until we meet again, thank you for joining us. Be safe out there. Do something great and incredible for somebody else, and we'll see you down the road on the Growing Our Future podcast. Thank you for joining us.